How's it going, everyone? I'm the JJ. This was supposed to be Filmography Fridays, but things got messed up in exporting again. Yeah. Basically, I had some issues. I screwed up. I'm not going to go into how, but things got messed up, and now I need to redo a video. I'm not going to be able to do a full review, so we're just going to do a top 5. Five on each hand, if that counted. Yeah, we're doing 5 young actor performances. I feel like that would be something interesting to talk about, especially since our last thing we did, filmography-wise, was Raising Arizona. So, kids, transition it somehow. I like a good young actor performance because they're very rare to find. You need a very specific, rare breed of actor to pull that off, and there's 5 specifically that I'd like to talk about here. Natalie Portman. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, oh god, no, Star Wars, oh god! Don't worry, it's not going to be shit chemistry, it's not going to be anything like that. In fact, it's the exact opposite. Natalie Portman. She started dancing and modeling, and she also lived in Jerusalem, which was interesting. And she moved over here to America and wound up transitioning into acting. Theater acting and movie acting. Specifically in movie acting is what we're going to talk about, because her first role in Leon the Professional is just fucking phenomenal. Super young, and I mean super young. There's not many that I have on this list that started younger. Transitioned into her first role, which was in Leon the Professional. A 9 out of 10 movie for me personally. And that is personal, but I love that movie, and it all hinges upon their relationship. If she wasn't able to pull her weight, if she wasn't a phenomenal child actress at the time, no go on that. The movie itself was a huge hit, allowing her to move to movies like Heat and Mars Attacks, and critics specifically, as I think I mentioned this before, chemistry, I know I mentioned it a lot, but the chemistry between her and the lead was so impressive to me and critics that I think that elevated the movie. Dakota Fanning. We honestly can't have this list without Dakota Fanning, without putting her on it. There's just no fucking way of doing it. When I think personally child actors or actresses, the first one that pops in my head, Dakota Fanning. And weirdly, not because of her movies, which I'm going to talk about. She's phenomenal in her actual performances. But I'm saying more in the aspect of the way she carries herself, the way she is, the way that she appears to be, at least. Her demeanor, her mentality is so adult, even from such a young age. She was a treasure to watch in interviews, because I was watching them kind of young myself, and I'm just, wow, you're more mature than I am. She has the accolade of being the youngest person nominated for a Screen Actors Guild Award. And wow, does she deserve it. She starred in I Am Sam, War of the Worlds, Charlotte's Web. That was just growing up. She's had plenty more later. But and also, that's just live action, let alone her growing up. It's also just live action roles. If you transition that over to voice roles, she's done, let's see what else we got. My Neighbor Totoro. I think she was Lilo from Lilo and Stitch 2. Coraline. Just so varied, so diverse, and she takes such clever roles. And that's another thing. I think the roles she picks are smart, especially for a child actor. I mean, when you see some of the stuff Macaulay Culkin's been in, or Elijah Wood's been in, also great child actors, but some of the other things are just, ooh. And that's pretty much what she was. She was visually young, but still had that adult mentality. Just could boss people around, and it was believable. And there was no other person that could fill that specific role than Dakota Fanning, and that's why I put her on this list. Jodie Foster. She played a teen prostitute at 12 years old in Taxi Driver. I mean, I was going to say more, but there's really not much else to say. She played a teen prostitute at was she really that young? Teen prostitute. Move on to the next one, because, I mean, what else can you say than a teen prostitute? She played a teen! I'm gonna go ahead and sub one out here. I actually originally wrote Judy Garland. A lot of people forget that she was 16 years old when doing Wizard of Oz, and a 16-year-old carrying that movie to that degree. And I actually will credit the timelessness of that film partially to her performance. The very doughy-eyed, innocent, and when you're a freaking kid or teenage growing up, you're the devil. Like, I don't care how nice you were as a kid. Oh, no, I wasn't you were the fucking devil. All kids and all teenagers are the devil, and they mellow out or get worse and explode. There's one of two options there. For her to be able to be so innocent and so sweet and so near perfect in that role. It was a little over the top, don't get me wrong. But it was the late 30s. I mean, what are you gonna do? Not the point, though. She was taken off this list, and I'm replacing her with Daniel Radcliffe. Most of his child acting, if not all of it, I could be wrong on that, was Harry Potter. But let's get into Harry Potter. The titular character, Harry Potter, was played by Daniel Radcliffe. An entire franchise, and it was a pre-existing franchise of books that were beloved. For Daniel Radcliffe to be able to take that and work it into this thing, and he turned out so much better than like 90% of these child actors that I've seen. Harry Potter 1, go back and look at how young he was in that, by the way. That's really creepy. The entire movie, there's not a beat that this kid misses, and I mean it. He was a kid. But yeah, just main point there. An entire franchise on this kid. Carried it. Not only carried it, launched his career off of it. Talk about, this is one of those cases that the career probably should have overshadowed the kid. And yeah, a lot of people will see Daniel Radcliffe and go, Harry Potter. But I can see him in other things. Look at Swiss Army Man. Ricci is the #1 child actor. At 7 years old, she started appearing on SNL and fake commercials. So I would say probably one of the younger, if not the youngest on this list. Nailed that. Then transitioned to movies including Mermaids, Addams Family Values, Now and Then, Casper, Little Red Riding Hood, that was a short granted, Opposite of Sex, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, even a voice role in Small Soldiers. And in each one, they're different. That's the thing about her. In Casper, such a sweet girl, such a beautiful friend. When you can't... I mean, how do you hate that character? She's perfect. She's literally the ideal friend. And then you move on to Wednesday Addams, her breakout role, and it's just... wow, the talent. Later on, with things as 200 Cigarettes, which she was older with, but just each role, I swear, is totally different from one another. She was nominated for three awards for some of the movies I mentioned previously, and won for 2 of them. I believe if I remember correctly, I think she won for Mermaids on both of them. She always brings a level of professionalism and, dare I say, gravitas to each role that she does, regardless of her age, whether that be now, in current day, which, be in more movies. You honestly deserve it. Maybe that's why she's so talented. She doesn't spread her talent thin. One of the movies I mentioned was The Opposite of Sex, and she played a character Dee Dee in that, which she actually got nominated for an Oscar, and she got snubbed, and they dubbed it one of the worst Oscar snubs ever. Let that sink in. One of the worst Oscar snubs ever. Leo wasn't there yet. But yeah, it's pretty much all I wanted to get out there right now. It's probably only going to be like a few-minute video, maybe 10 at max. Sorry about the whole filmography Friday situation. We will absolutely have it ironed out by next week. 100%. No excuses or anything. I tell you what, if I don't have one out for next week, I will punch myself in the face on camera, and that's a promise. As always, join us next week. Like and subscribe if you can. Comment. We'd like you to, you know what, do that. If you can, if you watched this video and you actually enjoyed it and you followed it all the way to the end and you get this message, please let me know that. Leave your top 5. I'd like to discuss this. There's plenty that I left out. As much as I dislike the woman, Lindsay Lohan was a great child actress. As I mentioned, Elijah Wood, Macaulay Culkin, E.T. I mean, there's so many movies and kids that you can just have performances. Tremblay from Room. If you haven't watched Room, ooh.